Located in San Francisco, Chinatown, the Chinese Historical Society of America, or CHSA, preserves the social, cultural, and political history and experiences of Chinese Americans. Founded in 1963, the CHSA is the oldest organization dedicated to preserving the narrative of the Chinese American population and promoting this increasingly visible community. In 1963, there were less than 2,500 people of Chinese descent living in the United States. Today, there are about 5 million Chinese Americans, and the CHSA's work has grown as well, striving to keep visible the stories of the past as they intersect with the present.
Our goal is to preserve and support the legacy of Chinese Americans, and also to kind of be like a place in the community that serves as a point of advocacy. So like for me, my main role will be planning public programs that are going to share the historical legacy of the contributions of Chinese Americans, but I also give tours to school children. They focus a lot about like Chinese immigrants and how they have fought to be included in American society, and constantly how there's been these laws that have specifically excluded people of Chinese descent. But we also have our register who preserves these historical objects or postcards and shares those with the public.
One way that the CHSA preserves the rich history of the Chinese in America is through exhibits covering a wide range of topics, such as Chinese American exclusion and inclusion, and aspects of SF Chinatown's history and changes over time. Group visits are open to the public, bringing in a wide range of visitors, from elementary school students to any tourist who stumble across the museum. One way the CHSA showcases Chinese culture is by hosting an annual Chinese New Year celebration. Historically, Lunar New Year celebrations in San Francisco Chinatown, originating in the 1860s, served to not only allow Chinese Americans to embrace their dual identity and connect to their ancient cultural heritage, but also to demystify Chinese culture to other Americans. Such efforts were especially important in an era where Chinese Americans struggled to fit into American society and were constantly stereotyped as savages and viewed as perpetual foreigners. These efforts continue to be important up until today. Recently, the Chinese Historical Society of America Museum in San Francisco hosted a 2020 Chinese New Year celebration for the Year of the Rat. This event included a lion dance performance by Kowloon Martial Arts, a presentation by Dr. Raymond Douglas Chong presenting on his autobiographical film, fortune cookie crafts for kids, traditional music, and exhibitions on Chinese American exclusion/inclusion and Chinese Americans in China, Burma, India theater of World War II.
That is something that's very important for people in the community, for people who are visiting Chinatown on that day, of having a place that they can, one, go and celebrate Chinese New Year, but they're not just celebrating it, because when you're going through the museum, you're not just learning about this tradition, but you're also able to learn more about Chinese history. So I feel like we're a great spot for that, because you're learning about this history of Chinese Americans and what they've had to do to be included in American society, but you're also going to learn more about this tradition.
Thanks to the tireless work of many Asian American activists and organizations like the CHSA, Asian Americans living in the U.S. today are generally better integrated and face less racial discrimination than ever before.
CHSA was the first organization that was dedicated to preserving the legacy of Chinese Americans, which kind of puts a lot of pressure on, like, okay, we have this history that we have to maintain, and we're not just maintaining it for Chinese Americans in San Francisco, but for all of the United States.
A survey conducted by the Pew Research Center in 2012 showed that 80% of Asians believe their race did not hinder their college and career prospects. And the same survey also showed that the majority of Asians believe they got along well with other races. However, as certain periods in Chinese American history, such as the exclusion era, make clear, the perpetual foreigner myth persists. In fact, a poll conducted as recently as 2001 by the Committee of 100 showed that the majority of Americans surveyed then still held a negative attitude towards Chinese Americans. And with the recent and ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a resurgence of these racist attitudes among the general public, which highlights a serious need for increased public understanding of Chinese American history.
So I think the importance or the impact of our work is making sure that we're able to share some of this information. And you think sometimes I know there's information, or you attend these events, and some of this information maybe that I already know, but you realize that other people don't know this. So having the ability to share this, and how can we continuously make it accessible? So I think the most important thing that we can do is making sure we're able to share this information, not just amongst ourselves, but for people in the future.
Overall, the Chinese Historical Society of America's work not only brings Chinese culture to the public, but is part of their larger mission to demystify the history and experiences of Chinese Americans. This is important to both providing opportunities to learn about the ways that the community has actively fought for visibility and civil rights in the past, but also to honor the Chinese immigrants who came before us, as well as inspire more Asian American voices to be heard in the present.